Did you always know that you want to be a doctor? Or?
No. Raise your hand if you're undecided. And I raise my hand. And she goes, what? You're undecided? And I say, I don't know what I want to do yet. We're going to figure this out. And literally she said, what do you like? And I was like, I don't know. She's like, what do you not like? And I was like, I don't like writing papers and I don't like, math. And, she's like, okay, science? I was like, yeah, I can do science. You like people? Yeah, you're going to be a doctor. And she marched me down there and told him, this is Alan Barnes. He's going to be pre-med. And they looked at me and I said, sure. And, and so she joked. She said, all right, if you make it, I get free healthcare forever. and it's an honor, man. Like, it really is a privilege to be trusted that way. And that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And I take that really seriously. So even no matter who you are, but especially when you're a friend and you've seen me do some really dumb stuff back, doing donuts behind the high school in the old Pathfinder or something, so it means a lot that y'all do trust me when I've not always been the smartest guy.
You don't know how amazing you are. You might not see it in the mirror, but ooh, it's never been clear.
Welcome to the Act Out Podcast. I'm your host, Adam Tomlin. Before we begin, I need you to like, to subscribe, to leave a 5-star review. The absolute best way to get this message across is to share it. So share it with your friends, your family, and even your haters. I'm trying to cast a super wide net with this one. My favorite thing in the world? Constructive compliments. Please leave those in the form of a comment down below. For any complaints you may have, please send those to the Lawyer Dad Podcast with Zach Pritchard. And remember, Adam is spelled Z-A-C-H. Ladies and gentlemen, the National Weather Service has just issued a hurricane warning for the Act Out Podcast. That's right. Today's episode comes from the land of the purple hurricanes, beautiful landlocked Cartersville, Georgia. And we sit down with Dr. Alan Barnes, a Main Street mainstay in downtown Cartersville. He and I talked about a lot of things. Even though we're both considered doctors, only one of us should really be called doctor. It's me, because I have a super fragile ego. We also learned that partner and patriarchy aren't synonyms. We also got to relive our old glory days on the gridiron. Well, one of us actually had glory days. The other got to see the bench, and it was very, very comfortable. And yes, of course, I was sitting with a doctor, so we did talk about healthcare. But to be fair, that's a super serious topic, and can't really joke about that one, so didn't really want to say it in the intro. It was so awesome getting to go back where I come from. It does turn out I'm an old Cartersvillian. Eat your heart out, Kenny Chesney. Let's roll the tape. Alan, man, thank you so much for agreeing to come on. How's everything going?
Oh, man, it's an honor to be asked by Adam Tomlin to be on the podcast, and I'm so proud of you for doing this and opening up a new chapter and braving the waters and doing something new is so great. And
thanks, man.
So it's an honor, my pleasure.
It's definitely been a learning curve. I feel way more confident now than I did towards the beginning. So you should be pretty lucky. Yeah. If things go really bad, I'm just going to pretend like this is the very first one we've done, though.
Yeah, you can totally blame me. It's like Mom always said, just blame me. It's all my fault. It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Bring me back to Cartersville, Georgia.
Yeah, so glad. Well, you always got the roots here, so us originals. Coming home is always a good thing.
Yeah, were you born and raised?
Born and raised.
Okay.
Yep. Live in the house I grew up in, even still. So yeah, I got the real roots that never left. And you know how it is here. Classic small town, and so blessed to have been from a good place. And we're never leaving ever.
You don't think so?
No.
So, where is Carrie from?
Carrie's from Tampa.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's from Tampa originally. Moved up here to go to Mercer. Was dating a guy. They broke up. So then she wanted to get away from Macon for the weekend. Her roommate went to Woodland.
Oh, okay.
And so she was like, "Can I go home with you for the weekend?" And she came up and has never left either. And now she's been here so long, all of our friends think she's from here. And they'll say, "Carrie, you remember prom?" And she's like, "No, I don't remember prom." "Yeah, you were there at Harrison's house." "No, I wasn't." And so thankfully she likes it too, because, of course, if she didn't, we'd be doing different things. But we actually just had our 11th anniversary last Saturday, a couple days
congratulations,
ago.
man.
Thank you. So it was exciting. And, got our 2 little girls, and they're 7 and 5, and keeping us busy.
She's 5 already?
Isn't that wild? I
Yeah.
know.
Is she in kindergarten yet?
Pre-K.
Okay.
And so first grade and pre-K. And so we're doing all the field trips and spirit days, and I took them to their first Canes game a couple weeks ago, and that was super fun to see them wearing their little cheerleader outfits and catching the little plastic football.
Oh yeah,
like
man,
we did back in the day.
that was my favorite part of the
Heck
football games.
Heck yeah.
Dude, whenever we were coming in, I saw signs like "Welcome to Cartersville, home of the Purple Hurricanes."
Yes.
And man, that brings back I love going to the football games because is his name Jack Howell? He does the call.
Jack's still there.
Ladies and gentlemen, Weinman Stadium is now under a hurricane warning. That still, man, I get chill bumps just saying that now, man.
And it was so fun that was my first game in a while, because I used to help out the team, being their doctor. And once we had Lily as my oldest, and it just got to be too time consuming, and so I really hadn't been to a game in about 7 years.
Oh, wow!
So that was fun to get to go back. But same, I mean, you still here on Wisconsin get playing, and the hurricane warning, and there are a lot of good memories and stuff that we still have going on, and things are changing obviously, but there's still the things that, like you said, bring back the nostalgia, and it's still a small town at its heart, but definitely getting bigger. But
that is one thing that every time I come here, I am amazed with how much it's grown.
Yes.
I think that I left around 2005, and I think we were around I think we were still less than 20,000 people at that point.
Yeah.
But I mean, since 20 years, God,
I know.
20 years later, man,
yes,
it is.
Yes.
It's a metropolis, man.
20 years, and the county's up over 100,000 people. And my wife does economic development, so she's got her finger on the pulse more than I do. And these companies that are coming in, Q-Cell batteries, I forgot how many square foot, like 1 million square foot buildings.
Oh, dang.
Bonkers.
Yeah.
And then, back when we were growing up, 10 minutes to get across town. Now it's 20. And,
and there's a parking deck on Main Street, man. That's crazy. I would never expect that at all.
And there's something going on every weekend, and you go to the store, and used to, you knew everybody you saw, and now you maybe see one person,
Yeah.
It helps you get out of there quicker than talking to everybody, but it is kind of sad. I do sometimes look around and I'm like, who are all these people? Where'd y'all come from?
Get off my lawn.
Get out of our town. But no, it's a great place to raise a family. And
what's your favorite part about living in the town that you grew up in?
The people. The people. And the familiarity, knowing every shortcut, and but then still just going to Egan's Bakery and knowing Abby, and going to four-way, and you still all the kind of, like I said, the same, but
the nostalgia.
The nostalgia, and it's still a community, which is great. Being now having a business on Main Street, it's been fun to get more involved with the different. There's so many great programs and community service opportunities, and the town really helps each other still, and so that's such a wonderful thing. And so definitely the people are my favorite part, and then obviously it's not just here. I mean, you have that at other places too. But it's nice that we have that going on too, which is nice.
So I imagine that a lot of the folks that you hung out with in school, you're still friends with now.
Oh yeah, we went to eat dinner Saturday night for Matt Hickham's 40th birthday, surprise. And this guy's, I guess it was 10 years ago, because you're having your 20th reunion this year. We had our 10th 10 years ago, and Carrie was like, we should go. why? I see the same people.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't have anything, you just not, what have you been up to for years? What have you been doing since Tuesday when I saw you at lunch, And so, yeah, that is it's nice when you have friends that you've known for 30 plus years. And yeah, it's really nice.
And so a lot of the folks I've been talking to like have moved out and they're like in a different part of the country and stuff, and a common theme is like it is really hard to like, especially like once you're like mid-30s, you have a family and stuff. It's really hard to get out and form that sense of community.
Sure.
And it's definitely something that people struggle with.
Yes.
But, like, I guess with you almost have the opposite problem.
Yeah. And I tell everybody, admittedly, like I know I'm not ignorant to the fact that I tell people I cheated, that when you stay in the same place and even starting this practice, I didn't have to, I have spent $10 on marketing in 6 years because you already know everybody. And I definitely know that has got to be such a hard thing in talking to other people, trying to meet new friends. And I mean, you and Kayla move into a whole different state and, still in the South, but a different region almost too. And, having to meet people at church or at the gym or something. And I do know that I'm lucky because that sounds exhausting. To have to go
Well, it's a lot like going out on a date almost,
Yes. That's a really good analogy. That it is like, oh, do we like each other? Or
Or are we going to vibe? Like,
yes.
I don't want to ask for his number too soon.
Right.
But I definitely need to get it.
Right. So that's been a blessing, and it's a great place to raise kids and all that stuff.
So how have your friendships evolved since you were like in like growing up to now? Like what's the what's similarity? What's the differences?
It's so nice because you have that familiarity, and even, I mean, great Saturday night. There were 10 of us, and 8 of us were us. That Andrew and Zach and Hickam and Zach, the other Zach and the other Andrew, and there was a guy that he was new, and I could tell we were trying hard not to do too many inside jokes, because we just know each other, but then with having kids and everybody being in kind of the same phase of life, the conversations are different now, a lot more about diapers and sleep schedules and stuff like that. So that has been interesting to see how that part has evolved the friendships. But there is just that nice familiarity feeling of you just already know somebody. And like you said, dating is like you don't have to worry about
You're still with your middle school sweetheart.
Exactly. You don't have to worry about do I smell bad? Oh, who cares? It's just Andrew, or whatever. So
he always smells bad.
He always smells bad. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So even like whenever you went off to med school, where did you go?
Kansas City.
Oh,
so I went to Kansas out there and to get away from the friends because I knew I needed to hunker down and study and focus and I love traveling, and I wanted to experience a different part of the country, and I had a great time and made some really good friends out there, and we all stay in close contact too, but that was on purpose to go somewhere different.
Yeah.
And I'm a sucker for, if you called me, hey, you want to go to the Auburn game? Sure, that biochem test can wait, and so that was good to get out there and have more of a focused time, and then after a couple blizzards, I was like, and tornadoes, I was like, get me out of here.
Yeah.
I was like, take me back to Georgia, so.
All right, so how does med school work? All right, you were there for, is it 3 years or 4 years?
4 years.
Okay, 4 years.
Yep.
And then, like, are you in an internship or something at some point? Like, how was it?
So the med school part is the same for everybody, and so you're the first 2 years are classroom, just learning all the stuff, and then the third and fourth years are in the hospitals. And you do these 1 month long rotations, and so pediatrics.
I've seen Grey's Anatomy, so I'm very familiar with this part.
It's almost identical. There's less sex and a little bit less drama, but it's still. But you start doing these different rotations in different fields, like emergency medicine, psychiatry, radiology, and you kind of pick up things you like or don't like, and it helps you narrow down what you want to do. And then your fourth year, you apply to different residencies, and so if you want to be a a surgeon. You apply to a general surgery residency, and then like for me, so I liked everything.
Yeah.
And I remember my sister. She's a veterinarian, and so we would talk almost every month, and she'd ask me how it was going. I said, "Oh man, I love it. Surgery's so cool. Pediatrics is so cool. Family's so cool. Surgery's so cool." And she'd say, "Well, that's bad. You like everything. What are you going to pick?" And I was like, "I guess family, because it has everything."
Yeah.
And so that was really how I ended up in it. And then you apply, you go to your residency is either between 3 and 5 years, depending on the specialty.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So family is just 3, surgery or obstetric gynecology is 5, radiology is like 4, anesthesia is like 4. So then you go to that specific residency for those 3 years, and then that's where you really learn the most. And
Yeah.
that's the hard. That's the Grey's Anatomy when they're in. That's what they're doing is their residency, and then you're done and you're an attending, and you can either go back and do a fellowship. Like if you're an orthopedic surgeon, you could go back and do a shoulder or back or something if you want to further specialize.
Yeah.
But I was ready to be done. I was like, no, I'm tired of school.
Yeah, you were there for like 10 years at that point.
Exactly. So it's another 7 to 9 years, I guess, after college, and then you're done. And so that's kind of how it works.
See, that's exactly why I would never call myself a doctor, even like jokingly, like I had, graduated from law school. I was like, Dr. Tomlin now.
Yes.
But no, like it was just 3 years. There was no didn't have to do any internships or residence or anything.
But they should have. But that's still really hard. And I really do believe there should be some cool word for everybody. Like Carrie has her master's.
Yeah.
And I wish so bad I want to call her Master Barnes. That's so
probably
neat.
not the best name.
But to have your if you have your PhD or something, it's just Miss Barnes. I'm like, no, she has her master's. You need to have something cool, So, but no. And then, the joke about being a doctor, any other kind of not medical doctor, you should still call 911.
Yeah. Exactly.
Have your PhD.
Even if you have a hangnail, you should call 911 before you come to me.
Yes.
I'm not going to give you any good medical advice.
There you go.
Did you always know that you want to be a doctor? Or?
No. So if you'd ask in high school playing football together, I'd have told you I wanted to be a pilot or I don't know, flavor of the week, different things. And now I remember I was at orientation at UGA, and Casey Branch, I don't know if you remember her.
Yeah.
She was sitting by me, and she's a strong, independent woman, and they were going around, raise your hand if you're an education major, raise your hand if you're an accountant major, raise your hand if you're undecided. And I raised my hand, and she goes, what? You're undecided? And I say, I don't know what I want to do yet. She, we're going to figure this out. And literally she said, what do you like? And I was like, I don't know. She's like, what do you not like? And I was like, I don't like writing papers, and I don't like math. And she's like, okay, science? I was like, yeah, I can do science. You like people? Yeah, you're going to be a doctor. And she marched me down there and told him, this is Alan Barnes. He's going to be pre-med. And they looked at me, and I said, sure. And, and so she joked. She said, all right, if you make it, I get free health care forever.
I was about to say, you need to do something for her.
That's really how it happened. And so then I just started taking the classes, and it's pretty cookie cutter, as you go, which I know always sounds silly when I say that to y'all, but you just take a test, and then you take the next test, and then they tell you to apply to a school, and you apply, and then you take the next test, and you just kind of follow this little algorithm. And
what is the MCAT like?
Oh, I mean, it's the first intense test you take. But it's all like your science classes all mixed together. And so it's like the LSAT, it's a weed-in tool.
Yeah.
You got to just make sure, I guess, somebody can handle the I guess, pressure and the volume. But I think at the end of the day, a lot of them are just, they got to have some way to measure you. But it has nothing to do with medicine. I don't use anything from the MCAT at all, ever. Yeah. And so,
now, taking the LSAT, there was something called logic games.
I've heard of that.
I hated those with a passion. It would be like Alan, Adam, and Kaylin are going to line up to take a picture. Alan can't stand next to Kaylin. Adam is number 3. You know, and like you're supposed to put them in order.
Yes.
I was so lost on those.
And
like
I'm sure you use that all the time when you're writing a brief. For
exactly. Yeah.
all the time.
Never
right?
use it again.
No.
Well, I mean, you can tell how well the law career is going out.
Hey,
We're
hey.
on a podcast now.
Hey, I think that's smart. That's being wide ranging in your
Yeah,
talent.
exactly.
Yes.
I'm a Renaissance
I
man,
love
if
it. I
anything.
love it.
So after you got finished where did you do your residency?
At Floyd in Rome. So I always knew I wanted to come home, and I always going back to hometown stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I always felt so bad when I'd meet people in Athens at Georgia, and I'm from Gwinnett, and I hated it, and I couldn't wait to get out of there. Or I'm from wherever, and I hated it. I couldn't wait. And I was like, man, I kind of feel bad because I love Cartersville, and I felt like all of us were the same. Now there's some, of course, you can't say everybody. There's some people that I couldn't wait to get out of there, but I was always knew I wanted to come home, and so one day we had a hospital day, and they had a list and these like a booze set up in a conference room type thing at the hotel, and I saw Georgia. There was one residency from Georgia out in Kansas City, and it was Rome, and I was like, oh, I didn't even know they had a residency. And I was like, all right, and so started talking to them, and that worked out good. So I did it in Rome, and did that drive down 411 for 3 years.
Oof.
Every day.
Yeah.
So tired of that.
So like whenever you are a resident, like were you you're seeing patients, are you like prescribing medicine, are you diagnosing, like what is the difference between resident and a doctor essentially?
So you're a doctor. So when you graduate med school, they call you a doctor. So basically you're either a resident or you're an attending. And so that would be technically what I am now, as an attending.
Oh, okay.
So the main difference is just that you always, when you're in residency, you always have a safeguard, I guess. Like you have an older doc who you run things by. You're making decisions, but you're also making a decision and then verifying, I guess is a good way to say it. You can say, okay, Adam's in with sore throat, I'm gonna give him this. And they'd say, well, he's allergic to that, don't give him that. Oh yeah, you're right. Or he's on this medicine that interacts with this one, don't do that. And so that's the main difference, is when you get done, you are more just on your own. And there's always, same like with law. It's very collegial, where you always could run things by. We call it a curbside consult. So, and that's the other good thing about this area in general, is so many specialists are friends now, where I know I can text them and say, hey, I've got this weird case, and what do you think? And they'll text me back and tell me, and of course they'll say, well, I'll see him if you need me to. But that's honestly the main difference, is there's just not the teacher aspect there anymore.
Is that like an area specific thing where you can like just shoot off a text to somebody, or is that like in other areas, or it kind of just depends?
I haven't been everywhere, but being in the Midwest, I did a lot of my third year down in South Florida, and those people are different. And so they're a little, not as nice at all as us. And so I don't imagine that it's the same down there. Maybe the stereotype of the Northeast folks, and get a little bit more mean, I guess. And so and so some of that I think is area dependent, but also relationship dependent. There's good and bad apples in everything, and I there's plenty of mean, for lack of a better word, specialists around here that I know I would not try that, or they would not be as acquiescent to a curbside consult. So I do think it's probably a little bit of everything.
Whenever I had like gone to New Jersey, where Kaylin's from, it was like my first time ever. We were at a bagel shop, and I was like looking at the menu, like trying to figure out what I wanted. And like a dude, and just like that, that stereotypical, New Jersey accent, like, what are you having? What do you want?
Go.
Yeah, like make a choice.
Yes.
And then like I'm, sir, may I please have blah blah blah? He's like, sure. welcome to Jersey. And then like, it's like, get out of here.
And down here, the person behind you been like, oh, you having a hard time? Well, the poppy seed one's really good, but do you like blueberries? And they probably helped you like decide what to get.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
And insert themselves too much, maybe, So
Actually, no, they told me to get the fuck out of the way.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, hurry up.
Yeah. And if you heard that here, you'd be like, whoa.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
That was a very big culture shock for me.
Yeah.
Because I spent my entire life in Cartersville.
Yes.
And then whenever even like going to Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I remember being like walking down the street for the first time, they're like, hey man, how's it going? We're like, what are you doing, man? Don't do that.
Dude. And I bet Kayla's got some. I bet the reverse culture shock probably like annoyed at us, probably like talking to you too much or
that. And we here it's not like you're not very like direct. You're gonna say it in a million different ways, but without actually saying it.
Yes.
I think that's also a little bit of a culture thing.
Bless your heart style.
Yeah.
That's it.
I end up doing the bless your hearts a lot.
Yes. And Kaylin probably knows the way Carrie knows how we really feel. Yeah. So funny, so true.
I loved Cartersville the entire time I was here, and then whenever I moved for that first time, and kind of started to see the different things and stuff. I think at that point, I fell in love with that feeling, oh my God, this is so new. There's new kinds of people, places, stuff I love that novelty.
Yes.
That sense of newness.
Yes.
But every time I come here, there's always that nostalgia.
Yes.
That you had said before.
And it's important to experience different places and different people. And
Yeah.
that's something that I'm gonna really work hard with my girls of, some of our friends that, you know who they are, that barely have left the county. And they say things that show you they have barely left the county. And you're like, it's a big world out there. And we're not the only ones. And, there's other beliefs and cultures. And it's important to respect others, in general, but to know the way we do things isn't the one way to do things. And so I'm glad you got to experience that too. And I'm with you that is a big, important life lesson and a good thing to do.
I think the first time, the first few times that I met people at first, it was very much that's different. That's not how I do it. That's wrong. But once I spent time with people and got to know them, it was this almost like an epiphany so much. I was like, holy shit, yes, we are different, but there are so many more things that we actually have in common.
Yes.
That, it's like there's so many more things that unite us than would ever divide us. I am having to go out of my way to create a division.
Yes.
And so, what do you think? Why do you think there's that instinct that kind of to insulate whenever you encounter something new? Man, coming in with a hard question.
I love it. It's such a sad question too, because it is true. And that's what my first thought is, man, I hate it. I don't know, because I don't know if it's an instinctive defense mechanism, almost going back in the tribal days or something where, that they're not like us. So different is bad, which is crazy and terrible and ignorant in my opinion. But I don't know that people are instinctively scared of things that are different. But
going back to actually, as you're saying, to the tribe days, something different could be a threat then,
right?
There is a I understand how it developed. Something new, this is a threat, threat's bad, no. I see how it developed. But now we're kind of in a situation, though, where we live in such an interconnected world.
Right.
And we've kind of realized, hey, man, some of our instincts actually aren't
necessary anymore.
exactly, aren't necessary anymore.
Yes.
So I think they're like you said a lot there with like, I think it's like basically trying to overcome human nature.
Yeah, and that probably is where it all is grounded in, and it's just a shame, I guess, that we haven't fully developed the psychological maturity, I guess, to be able to overcome that and know that.
Well, hey, we're trying, man, on the podcast.
That's it. That's it. That's it. And it's important, and that's why, I'm happy to talk to you because, I mean, talking about things that people don't often talk about and get people out of their comfort zone a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably it, too, is just people don't like being uncomfortable. And it's not, it's a good thing to be uncomfortable and get new experiences.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean,
yeah.
Starting this off was like the scariest thing that I've ever done, but like also probably one of the more rewarding things I've ever done, man. Like it's a blast.
I love it.
Get to like hang out and like just have a conversation with folks. It's freaking, it's awesome.
I love it, and like I said, just proud of you. I love people do different things and take chances, and I love it.
You were saying that you're trying to teach your girls, about like respecting other people, and showing that the world's big. How are you doing that?
I mean, just whenever opportunities come up, they're again 5 and 7, so they live in sort of a sheltered life, and so try to take them different places, like don't just go, me and Carrie go somewhere, but take the girls with us, and just making when you see somebody that's homeless, to know how blessed we are, and that yes, that's a person, like they've had some hard times, or maybe maybe made some bad choices, but a lot of it is
mental illness
and privilege.
Yes.
Who knows?
Yes.
I was lucky. You knew my mom, and got a loving mom that always took care of us and never hit us unless we deserved it. And but we didn't grow up in an abusive house, and a lot of people do, and that shapes you, and that's not fair. And to try to talk about those kind of things of like how blessed we are and how want to pass those blessings on to other people, and to pay things forward and take opportunities to do something kind. Hey, just because somebody at school lost their toy, give them your toy, or could you've done something to make them feel better, or what can we do to make that person feel better, or this family just lost their house, or they just lost a loved one. Let's take them dinner, or let's do something to. There's a book called Fill in Buckets or something along that line, and it's like you try to, I can either say hey to you and be kind, and I can hopefully fill your bucket, or I can take from your bucket and be mean to you, and so don't be a bucket emptier, be a bucket filler.
That's really good, especially like for like 5 and 7. That's like
But even for grown-ups, don't be a bucket taker, be a bucket filler, and it's so much harder to, in my opinion, it's harder to be mean or be cruel than it is to be kind. It doesn't take any energy to say hello or help somebody when they're down. It's worth it.
So it seems like you're kind of raising your girls how you were raised.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, again, privileged and blessed.
Yeah.
That I was raised by a great woman who set a great example, that I do want to raise them the way she raised us. On the flip side, if I had been in an unfortunate house, which is not our fault, who our parents are, you don't get to pick. And so I'm thankful that that I do have that good role model to do that, and try to almost raise them like it's the 80s, funny, but of course with all the technology it's hard to do that now, but
I'd seen there's a cruise, I can't remember what cruise line it is, but it's like all 90s theme.
Hilarious.
Everything is like from the 90s on it. Like that's, if I were to go on a cruise, it would probably be something like that.
A Blockbuster on board.
Yes, like there's Blockbuster and probably Surge drinks. So man,
some Pogs and some Beanie Babies.
Kaylin still has Beanie Baby, like she had like a whole like chest full of them.
Yes.
And at one point we had she'd written down Camden's college fund.
Hey, they were my retirement plan, Caitlin. I was collector back in the day, and I was ready to cash in, and that didn't work out so good. So now the girls, but every time they do tear off one of those little heart, I'm like, oh no, it's gonna be worth it.
Yeah,
And then
the,
I'm
the
like,
resale.
and then
Come
Carrie
on,
goes,
girls.
no, I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. Like, go for it. Have fun. Yep.
So actually, growing up, you kind of had to like step up and sort of be like the man of the house like pretty early on, didn't you?
Yeah, so my dad passed away when I was 5, and it actually was the same day as our wedding anniversary. So it was October 4th. So it was 34 years now.
Oh wow.
And yeah, and I mean, I remember people saying that, like, you got to be the man now. And mom, that mom took that away from us. Like she she was the mom, dad, everything. But growing up without a dad, it is hard. And I was lucky, again, being in our town, to have people like Dr. Bevel and Dr. Brunette and several, Coach Barden, folks to be male role models, because it's important. Again, if you don't, it's not your fault you don't have one. And it always did become a little bit of a ordeal with me, I guess, where I don't like hearing people say, "Well, so and so's in jail. They didn't have a dad growing up." It's like, well, I didn't either.
Yeah.
I haven't been to jail, thankfully. Knock on wood. But so that was something that I do have to kind of battle with. Like, okay, we're all different, and maybe their mom wasn't as great as my mom, and again, that's just luck. But yeah, that definitely did shape me, undoubtedly.
Yeah.
And it's always interesting too, because you don't know what the alternative is. I don't know any different, so I don't know how I'd be.
Right.
If I had 2 parents and had a dad, and that's why I wanted to start this practice, and the reason I do it the way I do it, so I can be home for dinner and be home on the weekends and be available for patients. But I have not missed a bedtime or a dinner due to work almost ever, and that's really important to me, because again, being 5 and now the girls being about that age, I'm like, man, like, your memories now are about what I have, and so I want to make sure I give them as many, because none of us are promised any amount of time, and so if I go in 5 years, I hope I give them 5 more good years if I'm 45 at the same time. Yeah, that definitely has been a big thing. But being a doctor and trying to be just a good person, I'm very much aware everybody's got a story, and everybody's been through not easy stuff, and I don't believe in like a score keeping or like, well, mine could have been so much worse. And again, luck, having a good mom and good family and stuff. So that's it's interesting, like how your life turns out and how it goes.
Growing up, I knew that like I wanted to have a family. Like as long as I can remember, I was like, I want to be a husband. I want to be a dad. In your mind, like, what did you kind of have that thought too? Okay, so what did you think like being like a dad would? What was your concept of that?
Well, I remember, so I'm from a family of 4, so I got 2 sisters and a brother, and I remember always thinking, I'm gonna have 4 kids. I'm like, can't imagine.
One kid is very hard.
One kid is hard. And 0 to 1's a big change. 1 to 2, it's pretty similar. I don't want to know what more than 2 is like. So I am very happily neutered. I'm happily vasectomied, and I love it. And I love my girls, and I'm done. Like 2 is plenty. And so, but I always didn't. I mean, being a dad was always the plan, I guess. And honestly, because of not having a dad, I wanted to at least get to experience, I guess, on this side.
Yeah.
So that was definitely always the plan. And we got married 11 years ago. We're married for 4 before we started trying. And that was good to have some time to travel.
Oh yeah,
and
definitely.
do some fun stuff before those 2 a.m. wake ups like last night, and so that was definitely always the plan, and try to soak up every minute and how they look at you, and knowing we're getting to this point, it hasn't been a lot of true like parenting, but no, you can't have more candy,
Right.
With my oldest, we are starting to get into some more like real life stuff, issues, and I think more role modeling and molding her
Yeah.
into the kind of person they're both wonderful. We're both very blessed with them. So they're going to probably both be pretty easy. My youngest is a little bit more of a wildcat, but Lily's like, she raises herself. Basically, she hates the even thought of being in trouble. So easy.
The oldest. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But, so that's definitely always a plan. And this is one of my, of course, like the highlights of my life is, there's no better feeling. You get home and comes running at you, Daddy. You're like, oh man, just want to live in that moment forever, and, we're going to blink and they're going to be, yours going to have facial hair and mine are going to be running off on a date. And I'm not looking forward to those days.
Camden, my birthday was last week or something.
Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. I wasn't fishing for that, but thank you nonetheless.
They come too fast now.
Yeah, for real. But Camden, he came up and he said, "Happy birth, Dada." And like that was the best present. That's the best thing that's ever happened to me on a birthday was Camden just saying "Happy birth, Dada."
I love it, dude. It's awesome. It's the best feeling.
Oh yeah. So whenever you were growing up, like what in your mind, what did being a dad mean to you?
Getting to share love, I guess, and hope, you're there to lead them, I guess, being a leader too, and it probably goes back to sports and all.
Yeah.
To, guide them and not make, they're going to make mistakes, and because, we all do. And, thankfully, I hope Mom's not listening, but there's a lot of things, Mom doesn't even know about, but we turn out okay, right? So I know there's going to be, but to help them hopefully avoid some of the pitfalls and stuff that we did, help bring joy to them, help encourage them, and teach them. That's the, you're about to get into that, because how old is Camden now?
2.
Yes. I mean, when they start talking, and now Lily's starting to read and just seeing what they can learn, it's amazing.
Yes.
She made us an anniversary card, and can write happy, and it's like, man, you can write, she's 7, so I mean, it's not, should be too shocked, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like still,
but still though,
it's still
like,
cool to see like how their brains change and the little skills they pick up. And so I think that's, just kind of going back even to like tribal stuff, like the innate nature of humans is to procreate and recreate in a way, I guess. And it's just such a fun, exciting time. And I tell people all the time, when you get married, or if you get married, don't get married if you don't want to. Like, there's a lot to be said about not being married.
Oh yeah.
And then when you get married, some people are so nosy. When are you gonna have a kid? It's like, relax. Like, we just got married.
Yeah.
And then I tell people all the time, like, if 1 is your number, that's a perfect number. If 0 is your number, that's a perfect number. Some people are crazy. Like, my sister's got 5, and I'm like, what are you thinking? And but they're really happy, so it's awesome. Yeah. And I love my niece and nephews, but but it also, personally, just my opinion, it'd be a sad, you'd have, you and Kayla would have a lot of fun. You'd have a lot more money if you didn't have a kid, but you could travel a lot easier.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
But, when we think about our future, in 20, 30 years, and we're in our 60s, and Thanksgivings would be kind of sad if you didn't have, the classic family, Camden and whoever he brings home, and the kids or not, whatever, to just see they're your family. That family aspect is so neat, and something that I think is pretty unique to not just humans, but us in particular.
Yeah.
That, standing together and, taking care of each other.
I think you had touched on a lot there, and I mean, it was very, very similar to how I felt growing up. I think part of it, and I didn't even like kind of consciously realize it until you were saying it, but I think one of the like biggest misconceptions I had about being a dad was that I think it was more of a patriarchal view, where you had said something about like leading, and I know you didn't mean it this way, but it kind of made me think of this. But like, I think in my head, the dad was going to be like head of the house, leader, boss, like CEO. That's definitely the biggest misconception
Yeah,
that I had about being like a dad and a husband,
Yes.
where it's much more about being a partner
Yes.
as opposed to like being the boss.
Yes. And I agree. And I think I think it probably boils down to a few things, but like one, you marrying a smart, strong, capable woman, and
You can tell that she's right in front of us.
That's it. But I would say it even if you weren't here, Caleb. And I'll say the same thing about Carrie, and she's not here. You know that I was probably. I mean, I know deep down it was on purpose, but again, being raised by a single mom, who is one of the strongest people I know, that was always important to me too. Where I didn't want, and I'm sure you know people too that are married, both, whether it's the husband or the wife, where one of them is the kind of just there, and the other one has to lead so much.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want that. Like,
No.
I want Carrie to be able to handle herself and to be a partner, and that's what we talk about all the time. We're a team, and that it's a partnership, and that we both have to work really hard and be there for each other and pick up slack and do things. And it is very much not a. And I think that's probably going back to being a dad. Like, that's what I tell my girls all the time. It's like, I don't want to ever see y'all with a partner that expects you to do things that they could do. Like like kind of those stereotypical 1950s.
Yeah.
Now Carrie will tell you I don't wash enough dishes, but I wash dishes and I do laundry and I do all those things, too. And because I want to help. And she helps me a ton, and so we help each other. And I think that's what, to me, and again, in my opinion, that's the most beautiful thing about marriage is a true partnership. Like, I don't want her to be just there and me have be, me be the boss like that. And I don't want her to be the.
You don't want Carrie to have 3 kids that she has to take care of.
No.
Right.
No. And I don't want 3 kids to have to take care of.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm saying that you were the kid in that
Yes,
situation.
correct.
But, so, you seem like you're doing very well. Like you with got the family and
Fake
got
it till you make it.
Did you kind of have like a sense of imposter syndrome before?
Oh, there's all times you look around and this is going really, we're doing okay, and, we're doing good, and especially like going through what I've been through with training and everything. There definitely been a lot of times where you do feel like an imposter a little bit, and you feel, oh, things are going, I guess we're doing it okay, we're doing it right, and then unfortunately you look around, you see friends or folks who make really bad decisions, and you go, okay, we're doing it real good.
I'm actually doing amazing.
We're doing great. And so that's why I always joke, I don't ever complain to anybody, because I know that I have it going really well. And it's, a lot of it is intentionality. Actually, before I jumped on here, my brother-in-law just texted me and offered me a boat for free. And so I asked Carrie,
nice.
she goes, no, we don't need a boat. She's right. We don't need a boat. That's another headache and another, all the things that go along with that. And when with our practice, we've had a lot of opportunities to expand and grow and hire new people. We haven't done it to keep it simple, and I think that's kind of a mantra for us is keeping it simple, being very intentional about what we do. The girls are not in a ton of different activities. We aren't with a ton of different, organizations or anything. We like to, if we spend our time, to do it diligently and intentionally and with a purpose. And so that part has served us very well, to be careful. So if anybody wants a boat, I got one for them, because we're not going to take it.
Can you explain a little bit about your business, like the direct care?
Yeah. So the model is called direct primary care, and I love it. I'll never go back, and the way. I feel like every generation is always saying, oh, things are changing, but like things really have been changing pretty fast over the past 10, 20 years with the insurance model and health insurance in general, so when I first finished, I worked for Floyd, and kind of the typical regular practice where you come and pay copay and all that stuff, and the practice has to bill the insurance, and That's all I knew because we don't learn business in med school. Like
Yeah.
they just teach us medicine stuff. And so I was getting really burnt out doing that, and I hated not knowing my patients and
Yeah.
to spend time with people and reintroducing myself to somebody who didn't tell me they'd met me 10 times and it felt terrible, or only having 8 minutes with a patient, that felt terrible. And so I was ready to go back, and I was going to go ask Coach Connor if I could have a job with the high school and
Really?
be a quarterback coach or something, you know. And I have a friend over in Alabama that has a practice like this, and he was about 3 years in at that point. We did residency together, and she said, "Why don't you go see Chad?" And so I went over Fort Payne, Alabama. That's where my dad's from, and I said, "Okay." And so I went over there and met up with him, and he had a small practice like this, and some guy walked in and, "Hey, Dr. Chad. Hey, Adam." I was like, "How do you know that's Adam?" Without like looking at the chart or something. He's like, "It's Adam. He's married to Kaylin. Cam is his son. He was number 15 in high school, played quarterback, left-handed."
Yeah.
You know, like, and I was like, "Well, I want to know that kind of stuff." You know?
Right, yeah.
And so came back, and it all moved really fast. And in April, we made the decision, bought this building in June, opened in September. And so direct primary care is the name of the model. And what that just means is you have direct access to your doctor. And so it's a monthly subscription type membership, and don't charge anything for text or visits or, you know, anything like that. And got a sore throat, and text or call me on your cell phone, you know. And, you know, I hope it's okay to say, like,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, you being one of my patients,
Mm-hmm.
like, I love the relationships I get to build with you, and, you know, hopefully the convenience when you're in
Oh,
Virginia,
yeah,
you
yeah.
text me, "Hey man, you know, Camden got me sick," and like, I know exactly what you got, you know, what pharmacy you need to go to, or, so the convenience factor for both patients, and then for me, is wonderful that I do get to be home, like I
Yeah.
said, for dinner, and just try to, you know, balance the work life is sometimes hard because I'm I'm a people pleaser, and I want to provide good customer service. So sometimes at dinner it's hard to leave the phone in the other room to be present, because if you need something in a hurry, I want to be able to get to you in a hurry.
Yeah.
But I'll never go back, man, to the traditional chasing down, having insurance tell you what you can and can't do when you know it's the right thing for you. I love that we get to do what we want and when we know is right, you know, what is needed. And and I can't imagine now having a boss again, like somebody tell you, "No, you can't go on that field trip," or "No, you can't leave at 12 to go eat lunch with your daughter at school." Like, yeah, I can go do whatever I want.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
It comes out as, I don't mean it like a, you know, He-Man boss guy.
No.
It's the freedom.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, once you taste it, I could not go back to somebody telling me what to do. Only bosses carry. You know, that's it.
So, and I will say that, yes, I didn't know if it was so much like the direct primary care that I liked, or just that, like, it was that, you know, I've known you for, 20 plus years at least.
No, well, yeah.
Almost 30 at this
That's a
point.
wild-
Yeah.
Probably 30. Probably 30. Yeah.
And so, like, this was the first time where I felt completely comfortable telling you, like, "Hey, man, so, like, this is going on. Like, this is my history." Like, there was a feeling of, like, being at ease with you. I could very well be, like, because I know you, but I think it also has a lot to do with, like, who you are and your personality as well.
I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. And that means a lot to me. And because, you know, that's the best part about being a doctor, is helping people. And, you know, you do want folks to be comfortable. And so I treat everybody the same, whether I've known you for 30 years from Rudy York or not, you know, the Little League field.
Yeah.
So I treat everybody the same, but it is honestly like almost a twofold benefit to me that you're my patient, so I'm going to take care of you anyway, but then you're also my friend, and you know, my lifelong friend.
Yeah.
And that's even more satisfying, I guess, to know that I get to help. And it's an honor, man. Like, it really is a privilege to be trusted that way. And that's a big deal.
yeah.
And I take that really seriously. You know, so even no matter who you are, but especially when you're a friend and you've seen me do some really dumb stuff back, you know, doing donuts behind the high school with the old Pathfinder or something, you know, so it means a lot that y'all do trust me when you know I've not always been the smartest guy, you know. So.
Well, I certainly wouldn't say anything to you about that now, because of mutually assured destruction,
Yes, yes, thank you. I think hopefully the limitations.
Yeah, exactly. Statute of limitation run out.
I hope so.
I've talked to like a few doctors, and most of them are like kind of express a similar sentiment to you. Like, I wanted to help people out. So it seems like the health industry is filled with folks that are like, hey, I just want to help somebody out. Why is healthcare so awful?
Corporations.
Money. Okay.
Yep.
So can you kind of elaborate a little bit? Like,
yeah, you hope, and again, there's always bad apples, but you know, when you're growing up and you see the fancy cars of older folks who are doing whatever they're doing, right? Doctor, lawyer, CEO, whatever, and you just see the money as a kid, you know? And then, of course, almost every adult that I remember talking to as a kid would tell us, "Oh, don't do stuff for money." And you'd say, "Well, that's right. Like, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna definitely do that. You got a condo at the Panama City, and you got a nice car, you know." And then as you get older, you realize, okay, there is way more to life than money, and you could be making all the money in the world and be miserable, and it's not worth it at all. So to go and to go through all the hours and all the sleepless nights and everything to be a doctor, I don't know how you could not do it just for money, because it is not, anybody watching it is not worth for money. Like, it is hard and tiring and everything, and sometimes draining emotionally.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
But to you all, I think to be a doctor, you have to have that core. I want to help people, because you just draw on that so much when you're tired, and you have to put the other person first, which is not always easy, you know. I think right now, so what is, to answer your question, what's happening right now is money, whether it's insurance companies or these big hospital firms and corporations, and, you know, I won't say names, but they're just the ones that you know of here in town. And I think at some point they mean well, but really for them, the bottom line is money. The bottom line is the bottom line.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
And so even just around town, some of these small practices and big practices are getting bought out by these large hospital groups from North Carolina and from everywhere, and they're taking away the doctors and nurse practitioners' lunch hours. See one more, see two more. Why are you not seeing them fast enough? Yeah. And it's this pressure. This pressure that is coming from behind the scenes. That's not what the doctors want. They don't want to be like that. They don't. And then you hopefully don't, but we're all human. They're burnt out. They're stressed out. Sometimes that gets passed on to the patient. That's not fair. It's not the patient's fault. The insurance company's not wanting to approve treatments or imaging or something for their bottom line, leads to a racket for more unnecessary stress on the doctor and the patient. You know, all you know is you need an MRI. Well, the doc said I need one. Well, the doctor thinks you need one, but then they won't cover it, or they won't let you get one, and the doctor's mad because they won't do it for you. And so I don't. And I always said, I hope more and more people will do what, and I did not invent this model. Like, I'm totally copying what other doctors have done before me, but I wish that more people would do it, more doctors would do it, because if I can do it, anybody can do it. Like, it's, you know, that's why I mean that. Like, I'm not the smart at all. Like,
agree to disagree, my friend.
You're sweet, but no. I think things will not get better until doctors and patients take back the power, which sounds I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. It's the corporations that are ruining it, because it's about money.
All right, so let's do like a little compare and contrast situation. Let's say I am a family doctor that works for, I don't know, Cartersville Medical Center, whatever. I'm going to bill through insurance. All right, patient comes in, and I, a sore throat, right? Whatever it is. How do I get paid? Okay. As the doctor. Yes. And is it the copay? Is it the insurance company paying me? And then, like, what's going on with you whenever you see that same girl with the sore throat?
Yes. So in a fee-for-service practice, which is a regular doctor's office, you would come in, you'd pay your $20, $30, $40 copay, see you. I would have to make a detailed note and say that I covered 10 systems. So even if you were just there for your sore throat, in theory, I was supposed to ask you, like, are you tired? Does your shoulder hurt? Does your belly hurt? Are you coughing? Your knees hurt? Are you peeing okay? And then those are the review of systems. And so if you cover enough systems, you can code at a higher level. And so 99211, 99212, 99213, 214, 215, etc. Like it goes up to 5.
Yeah.
The higher the number, the 5, you can bill for the most, but you have to show that you did a lot in the visit. And then you turn in that bill and say you do a sore throat. So that'd be like a 213, like a middle of the road. So you would say turn in a bill for $200 to the insurance company. They would then say, okay, cool, you billed $200, here's $75. So then you know that to get this, say $75 is what you thought was fair. Well, you know you have to bill for $200. So that's why then you, the patient, get the bill maybe for $125 on the back end to make up the $200. And maybe the insurance company comes back at the doctor and says, you didn't provide enough documentation. We're only going to do a 212 visit. So here's $40. So then you have to go back and readjust your note and that kind of stuff. So anytime you're at the doctor and you see the receptionist, the nurses, the doctor, and then in the back room, you see a group of 1 to 5 people just on the phones or on the computer. That's what they're doing. So that doctor's having to pay those 5 people, say, however many people that are chasing insurance payments. So then they're having to pay them. So then they're having to see more patients. That doesn't lead to more minutes in the day. So that leads to fewer minutes with the doctor, or the doctor being late.
So so the doctor's money is coming from the insurance company.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, and then from you're then paying your premium and hit your deductible and whatnot, and that whole racket and hamster wheel kind of. That's what the analogy I always think of is a hamster wheel, where it's just like this constant churn.
Right.
So then
and it seems like you have to go faster and faster because it seems like you need to see more people. You need to do more. It's kind of a constant.
And then you need more employees because they're getting overwhelmed with what they're trying to do for you. And so with me, it's just you pay that monthly membership, and you got a sore throat. Okay, here's some antibiotics, and you already paid me, so I don't have to get paid by anybody else, and I don't have to turn in nothing.
Yeah.
And, wait on either a rejection letter or a amendment letter, or have to guess how much they're going to give. How much is the insurance going to cover out of that $200 bill? And all those amounts that they pay are called contractual agreements, and so the practice will make an agreement with Cigna, saying, okay, for every $200 you bill, we're going to give you $80 or $60 or $100. So you come up with these agreed upon numbers.
Okay.
And I don't have to do any of that. So it's a beautiful thing. And that's why I say I'll never go back. But that is kind of the behind the curtain look of why there are so many employees in a doctor's office. And
why are so many smaller firms or practices getting bought out by the bigger ones?
Either because the doctor or the owner doesn't feel confident, or because there's good things about being an employee. I mean, when I was at Floyd, I remember I didn't have to worry about if somebody turned the lights off when they left, or if the toilet overflowed.
Yeah.
I've had to be plumber and electrician and decorator and all the things here, but so some people are just more comfortable being an employee, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I don't know, I don't know if like the opportunity, if somebody came and offered me, I used to say $3 million, now I'm like $20 million, so
the number's getting higher.
If Emory, if you're listening, you want to come by $20 million, so I think that's probably too, depending on what stage of life you're at, if you're ready to retire, that's a retirement option, is to sell your practice, because you already have a set panel of patients. So there is some value to having those patients already set up. Of course, then if they come in and the new company ruins it and it's not the same experience,
Right.
you're not going to stay, but those would probably be the two main reasons, I guess, is either just not comfortable or confident, which is sad. And I'm sure you too. I mean, us, lawyer and a doctor, we're not dumb, and we can do hard things, No, you hush. But yeah, a lot of my colleagues, I'm like sad because they don't feel confident in being a business owner. Yeah. And it's like, well, no, you can do it. If you can go through law school and through med school, you can own a business. Just make more than you spend. That's the it's not hard, So those are the probably main reasons I can think of, that people do that. But I can tell you though, from just here in town, the folks who have sold, no matter almost what line of work they're in, they regret it. They come in, they definitely, the new company breaks something that wasn't, they try to fix something that wasn't broken. Yeah. They break it, and it's a shame.
But no, I don't know if you're or if you're familiar with like how healthcare is run in like other countries. And my whole life, like the U.S. system, only one I knew about, and so like, hey, like this is the way it's done. But now that like I've kind of like looked and seen other models and stuff, I think it's bizarre that we profit that we have like a profit incentive on healthcare.
You do.
And that focus is to me a big reason why there is an issue with healthcare. But at the same time, like the system that we are in, like the capitalistic system, I don't know how we can like move to a different model.
Because I hear you, and I mean, on like one hand, it is kind of mind blowing, and it feels wrong to say, okay, we're gonna get rich off people being sick or hurt or anything. I will say, I went to Canada back in January and met a ER doctor up there, and she makes $50,000 a year, which I was here. ER doc probably makes $400. That was bonkers. We were talking about the free healthcare system that they have, and so what happens if somebody needs an MRI of their knee? Like say you're skiing and you hurt your knee, and she said it might be 9 months before you can get an MRI because it's free. Yeah. And I said, man, she said basically they hope you just get better on your own or forget about it. Okay. And it doesn't become like an and it's interesting that I think if we did change the whole system, that patients would have to get used to it too. One of my other buddies is an orthopedic surgeon. He did a year in Edinburgh in Scotland. And we went over to visit him, and he was telling us that if they even thought a surgery would go past 5 o'clock, they wouldn't do it. So imagine you're waiting to get your hip replaced. It's set up for Monday. It's at 2 o'clock. Yeah. You didn't eat all day. And then it's he had to do a shoulder and a knee or something before you, and something went wrong or something was harder in the first couple of cases that he didn't expect, so it pushed him back, and now it's 2:30 or 3 o'clock, and they know it takes 2.5 hours. Well, that's going to be 5:30. We don't stay past 5. Sorry, Adam, we're rescheduling you. Can you imagine?
No, I get so hangry, I would probably fight.
Oh, Carrie would murder the nurse or whoever had to deliver the news. It'd be ugly. And I mean, we wouldn't stand for that, right? And so, and then again, if somebody told you, like if I ordered you an MRI for your whatever in 9 months, you kidding me? Like we would not put up with that. So there are the good and the bad. Medicine costs are a big issue now, and I get torn on how I feel about that, because the folks that have to do all the research, they're smart folks, and they could be working anywhere, and same thing. You hope that there's a lot of natural kindness in them, that they're doing it for the sake of humanity, to find cure for cancer or psoriasis or rheumatoid arthritis or anything that ails us, that we're lucky we can help take care of, or antibiotics. You want smart people researching that stuff. They got to make money. It costs money to do that. Now, does it cost exactly how much they charge? No, probably not. But at the same time, I know that we do have to reward the smart folks that are doing that research, so that we take for granted a lot of the stuff we have nowadays. Like, we don't expect to be sick for more than a couple of days.
Right, yeah.
You know, you get upset if you're still sick.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
well, your body's got it. This is normal and used to. You might die from strep throat. Like, we should be thankful for amoxicillin and stuff. So, yeah, every 4 years when there's an election, I always now just roll my eyes when, you know, whoever's running promises to fix it, and I get old enough now to realize, no, you're not.
Right.
No, it's not one easy fix, and it to your point, it probably isn't fixable even. It's just trying to make it as good as we can, to where it's accessible,
Well,
affordable.
Do you think there is a happy medium between waiting 9 months to be able to be seen for an MRI versus, well, if you have enough money, you can get in 25 minutes.
Right.
But, like, you know, so is there a happy medium anywhere? Or?
I would hope so, because I mean, unfortunately, that kind of is how it is now.
Yeah.
Because with me and my practice, I mean, not everybody can afford to be a patient of mine, and I can't afford to have too many patients, or I defeat the purpose of what I've been doing. So if I, you know, had everybody, for, you know, and that's kind of going back to about like free healthcare. I remember one of our friends texted me or called me when Biden got elected, and I'm worried about you. I said, why? He said, well, he's going to make healthcare free. That's going to be terrible for your business. And I said, no, that'd be wonderful. Because can you imagine if like every doctor visit was free? You would just go, and people do just go for a sniffly nose or a stumped toe. I said, that'll be great, because then if you are paying me and I can see you right away versus going in the waiting room being packed or having 2 weeks to wait, you know. So I was like, that free healthcare would be awesome for me, but it would be people that have the funds. And, you know, to your point, that's not always fair.
Yeah.
But I don't know the answer to the happy medium of, and, you know, thankfully it's not always just money. I mean, you know, the real sad thing is who you know, cause if, you know, Kaylin's not my patient officially, but if you called me and she needed something, I'd make it happen.
Yeah.
But not everybody's friend is a doctor, and you have their cell phone and can do that. So, I think that too plays a role of like who you know. And again, that's privilege, because how you grow up, sometimes your friends aren't doctors and stuff. So it's definitely complicated, and I am not smart enough to proffer a good, probably an intelligent response right now.
Agree to disagree, but yeah, I had to do it.
But I do it. I mean, it is complicated, and I wish there. I hope that everybody who ever needs something is able to get it in a timely manner, and that's again where you kind of come back to the community aspect of help each other, you know. So,
how do hospitals get their funds? I'm sorry, you say in the community. I ended up switching trains of thought, but I've seen a lot where with Medicaid being like you know, like lower, that there are a lot of rural hospitals that may have to close. Why is that?
So, and try not to be ignorant and sound naive, or you know, there's definitely a lot that I don't fully understand. The way that I think of it, you know, Medicaid is for folks that are below a certain, you know, yearly income. That Medicaid certainly reimburses a lot less than to the hospitals and to the doctors. The reimbursement is way lower.
Okay, so what you were saying earlier about the like 213s and the 215s,
correct.
It may be a situation where I do that visit, but there, instead of the $70 that United would pay me, I'm going to get 25 or something from Medicaid. Is that kind of how it is?
Exactly. And so, as far as like the hospitals having to close, I don't know if it's an issue with not having enough well-insured people that reimburse enough to keep the lights on. And because I mean, it is a business, and you know, it's what like some of my patients will say, yeah, like, you know, my fee-for-service, oh doc, I had to go in for every little thing, and I'm like, well, that's because they needed to get paid, and they got to pay those employees, and you know, the hospital is very expensive to run, so that might be part of the problem with just like Medicaid and Medicare are two of the more government subsidies that reimburse less than a commercial insurance does. So that might be the problem with some of the rural areas of just not being able to afford. And I'm not savvy enough on all the current things with like negotiations with like Medicaid cuts and all that.
Why is running a hospital so expensive?
The staff, the supplies, the machines, all the.
Well, that's an extremely ignorant question. I mean,
No. I mean, and again, it's not maybe as expensive as a $5 million a year CEO will tell you it is, and that's a whole other conversation. Actually, that's part of it. That's a very important topic. Administrators, man, if you're out listening, don't go to med school. Go to business school. Become a hospital CEO and make $3 million a year, and you'll make way more than any at a nonprofit hospital. By the way, not for profit. Make millions a year. That. If you ever see a graph of the salaries, how they've changed over the years for doctors and nurses versus administrators, the lines are very different in how they've grown. And that, again, they'll tell you, we don't want to make less, and we got our MBA and, all that stuff. So that part, administrator salaries, and then just the, having, you don't want to go to the hospital and them tell you, we don't have any clean Band-Aids or something, So, I mean, it's just, and they're huge, which, our population's growing. They got to be, being in ICU, all the monitors, and it's a lot of stuff that costs a lot of money.
How, or why is it so expensive for me to go to the hospital?
So that because of insurance companies. So remember back, like our example, like $200 for a visit. So and this is again the way I understand it. So please, if you're listening and I'm ignorant, I apologize. I'll caveat this statement, but the way I understand it is that there's a law, and I don't know what it is, but that legally a hospital has to bill say you don't have insurance, right? So an uninsured patient has to get the same bill as an insured patient would. Otherwise, it'd be considered insurance fraud or some kind of fraud.
Right.
If they were billing the insurance company more than an uninsured, but they're billing the insurance company more because they know they're going to get less.
Right.
So then it becomes very unfair to the not insured patient. And unless you know that you can negotiate and ask for a lower price, that you'll usually get a lower price because they had to exorbitantly balloon their bill to the insurance rates to avoid the insurance company saying, well, you only charged Adam $100. Why'd you bill us $200? So, well, y'all are only going to give us $70. So that's where it all. And that, whenever a politician does say, I'll fix it, there is a lot of common sense things that could be fixed. And I, again, not smart enough to know why those haven't been.
You knew there was a follow-up question about to come, didn't you?
I don't know. And that's where, I always feel like, the hopefully smart person says they tell you what they don't know.
Yeah.
And I don't know. You would think though that hopefully there's a good reason if that would be easy to fix, right?
Yeah.
Cash menu and a insurance menu.
Right. Yeah. It seems kind of it seems kind of simple, but
and I'm I am biased, so I'll blame the insurance company. I'll say it's their fault. So that would be my guess. Is it's their fault?
Well, I mean, the insurance company is just a very easy boogeyman.
Yes, it is. It is, admittedly. And I'm on my team.
They do themselves no favors whatsoever, but...
Yes, not often.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. What were you saying about
that? I mean, yes, like I said, I'm admittedly biased, obviously. And so, I mean, there seems to be some wiggle room and some common sense areas that we could fix some problems.
Yeah. One thing that I can't remember which, I think it may have even been United, where they had put in like an AI program to do their to read to see like what they were going to pay for and stuff, and like they were bragging about like, hey, we cut down our approvals like blah blah %.
Yes, they're called prioritizations. Yes, and so that is a very annoying, frustrating hoop. It's created by, and it's I wish I could remember exactly what the cartoon said, but basically along the lines of Adam goes to see Dr. Allen. Dr. Allen says, you need this medicine. You go to the pharmacy. You say, hey, Dr. Allen said, I need this medicine. The pharmacist says, we agree. They send it to the insurance. The insurance says, well, hang on, we'll ask Dr. Allen for sure. And then I say, yes, I did want him to take that.
Yeah.
Well, tell us why. And like, I already did. It is in this paperwork and faxes, and this is like a big, long, drawn-out process. And then it is so.
Are they hoping to tire you out,
yes,
essentially?
Yes. And I mean, they'll say, oh, it's ensuring, adequate prescribing, whatever.
Yeah.
No, it's 100. Like, you can't tell me that it's not to hope, kind of back to Canada, hope that me and you will get tired and just go away, or that we'll forget about it, or we won't see their follow-up and whatever. And it is a money-saving tactic that just takes more time. And I can't tell you how many bad words I've said either on the phone or in my faxes back of,
all right,
it's on the effing prescription.
Yeah.
Well, what was it, milligrams? Read the thing, so. Yeah, those are some tactics they use to try to get us to go away and forget about it, and them not have to pay for something they don't want to pay for. And it's just,
yeah, it is absolutely absurd with like, and I think like, and I don't know the answer to this because like, you're kind of your point earlier, people have to make money and stuff, but at the same time, the insurance company is, oh God, like the way that they are making this money, it seems skeevy, really. Like
it is. Well, and I used to, when I would be on the phone with somebody from United or Cigna and trying to explain to them why we were wanting to do this MRI or whatever, when I'd already explained it in the note that they made me send in to them, but they didn't read, that I would tell the person I was talking to, the fact that you even have a job and are needing to be paid, they're wasting so much more money paying your salary than if they would just cover this $400 x-ray or whatever.
Yeah.
But now, to your point, I did read that same article about the AI and how they are programmed to turn away. The number I saw was like 70% of
I didn't want to say something like ridiculously high, but it was something.
Just to automatically deny it. And that is horrible. I mean, that's deplorable, despicable, whatever word you want to add. I mean, it is terrible and super frustrating to me and us and to y'all. I mean, it's not do no harm is our first word. And that is not helpful.
Yeah, that's quite harmful, actually.
Harmful, yes. So again, I don't know. I wish I was smarter and wish I knew, and I wish I had more energy that I'd want to. I have no political aspirations at all. Like I just.
Dude, I think you'd be a great politician.
I just want to go home and play golf and, be here with y'all. And, I don't want to have to go to a meeting or deal with bureaucracy. And I'm I'm too transparent. Like I watch House of Cards. I can't play those games. I get too tired.
Bill Clinton had said that House of Cards was the most realistic show that he had ever seen. He was like, but you would have never gotten an education bill passed that fast. It was like the only thing that was wrong about that show was that you wouldn't get a bill passed.
I would get so confused about who I was trying to be friends with and not friends with, and who I'd promise what to, and all that stuff. Like, that sounds exhausting.
Well, they say that politics is the second oldest profession, but it bears a striking resemblance to the first.
What's the first one?
Prostitution.
Oh, I love it. That's hilarious. Dude, yeah. Sounds about right. Yep, I'll stick to family doctoring.
Family medicine, podcasting, definitely better than politics. But, Alan, man, this has been an absolute blast, dude.
I've had so much fun. And again, it's an honor to be asked, and it's a big deal. And I hope that I've said some good things. And
man, you've said some great things. You've taught me a fair amount too. I didn't know a lot about the health insurance thing.
Seen behind the curtain. I mean, I didn't know it either until being a part of it. So there's a lot out there. And but I'm so proud of you, and this is awesome. And y'all are first class folks, and it's been so fun getting to be with you.
Well, before we go, you'd mentioned that you and I we used to play football together. Old quarterbacks back in the day used to back you up. What's your what was your favorite memory out on the field?
Oh man, definitely the LaGrange and Carrollton games, and my senior year. Went to overtime against both of them.
Yeah.
Beat Carrollton and lost to LaGrange, and Carrie still has to go down to LaGrange every once
Is
in a
that
while.
when Blake Mitchell was the quarterback for LaGrange?
They had, what was that guy's name? Thad? Was it Thad Todd or?
Thad Todd, I think is, yeah.
Well, the one that scared me so much was Trey. What was his last name? Anyways, their linebacker that.
Oh yeah,
mean and could hit Wesley Woodyard. They went on to win state that year. And, so Carrie every once in a while has to go down to LaGrange for work, and I'll tell her, "You spit on that sign. I'm still bitter at LaGrange." But again, I mean, back then it was the same thing as the people. Like I love the relationships we made. And, that's not easy, and going through hard stuff together is life bonding. And stuff. So a lot of good life lessons learned from that, and it's fun now going back and seeing the kids still playing. And I'm not the typical football fan where I'm like, y'all relax, it's just high school football, like take it easy, but it is a lot of passion there. So it's fun.
Well, this has probably been about 6 months ago by now, but you had said, I think you were like quoting like one of your buddies or something, but it was like, I absolutely refuse to have my weekend ruined by a group of 18-year-olds. Not gonna happen.
No,
ever since you said that, I've thought of that.
And the more and more we watch Georgia lose to Alabama, I have to remind myself that too. Like, it's okay, it's not our fault. We didn't do anything wrong. Like, we can still go have a good weekend. The beer's still cold. Everything's still good. Life's fine. But that's a good quote that I have to borrow from a friend.
I will say that. My favorite memory to share, it definitely wasn't my favorite to have at the time. I was going under center for the very first time, like never taken a snap before. And for some reason, I was like 14 years old, and I was teamed up with the starting varsity center. I can't. Darren Stepp. Darren Stepp. That was his name. Yes. And I mean, I remember I like my hands were shaking. And I like got under there and was like, set, hut, fumble immediately. And it was Coach Payne, who he had this really long like mustache. And it was like handlebars kind of that looked like bell bottoms essentially. He blew his whistle. Try it again. Go under there. Hi, fumble. He blows the whistle, and I mean, he's kind of staring like down at me. He's like, what are you doing? It's like, I'm playing quarterback. Why? It's like, I wanted to. He said, hell, son, I want to be an astronaut.
Sounds about right. I'm going to have Coach Payne, sweet guy with that, man.
He
Nightmare
scared
fuel.
the
Oh,
shit
he
out of
was
me.
so scary. I'll never forget having a face. We had a face mask, and he had a mouthful of chaw. One day I took off my helmet, and you could see where the face mask had been, and the rest of my face was just covered in pieces of tobacco. And I think that was the day he was, packages talk, Barnes? And I said, I don't even know what that means.
Packages talk.
I don't know. To this day, I'll see him sometimes, and I'll say, hey, coach, remember packages? He goes, they don't talk, do that. I'm like, I still don't know what that means 30 years, 20 years later, And so, there were some scary days back then. So I'm glad we survived. But we got through it together.
Yeah, we did, man. Alan, thank you so much for coming on, bud. I appreciate you acting out with me.
So much fun. Love you, man.